Thank you, Peter. You're a great pal, and you've done so much for the institute that's about to be and so much for our city. We look forward to your continued great career. Members of the Kennedy family, distinguished guests, is this choir way cool or what? Thank you for helping to make this a joyous and glorious morning on Columbia Point. Terrific. Congratulations to all of those who, for 2 years of hard work, have made it possible to have this public inaugural of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate. You've done a great job. This will come as no surprise to you, but after 40 years of working together on political, policy, and professional issues, and having enjoyed a fun-filled and treasured friendship, the most meaningful public honor in my life was to receive the endorsement of the Kennedy family and the appointment by Governor Deval Patrick to succeed Edward M. Kennedy in the Senate of the United States. In so many of our private conversations, he would say, "America is a promise. America is a promise our founders passed on to succeeding generations, each with an obligation to leave it better than they inherited it. And to fulfill that promise, like his brothers John and Robert before him, he chose a career in politics. Ted Kennedy was a politician and proud of it. The institution he chose for his political service was the Senate of the United States, whose place in our democracy and whose role in our history he truly revered. In his memoir, True Compass, he wrote the following: "To say that I love the Senate does not begin to convey what that institution means to me. Let me put it this way. After nearly half a century, I still cannot be in a car headed for the Capitol, especially in the evening, and glimpse it in the distance without the hair on my arm standing up. I've told Vicki, if ever that sight does not move me, I will know it is time to step aside. That building symbolizes to me the benevolent power and the majesty of our government. It is awesome to me, not awesome in the reflexive way that young people use the word, but in its real sense, its older sense, as evoking reverence. Being a senator changes a person," he said. "Something fundamental and profound happens to you when you arrive there, and it stays with you all the time you are privileged to serve. I have seen the changes in people who have come into the Senate. It may take a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, but it always happens. It fills you with a heightened sense of purpose." Edward M. Kennedy, in his own words. What follows are my words, but I am as sure of them as he was of his, and they're worth repeating on this occasion. When history's hand finally writes of the first 250 years of this republic. It will record that no individual legislator from any state, of any political party, or of either House of Congress worked harder or longer with a more heightened sense of purpose for the cause of peace and economic and social justice than Edward Moore Kennedy, Democrat of Massachusetts, whose name will bear this institute. And despite that extraordinary record, he did not want this institute to be limited to his own career or to be a personal and nostalgic memorial to himself, nor to be a partisan center of education. He believed in being part of something larger than oneself, and he envisioned a teaching institute larger, broader, and more far-reaching than even his own work. A place where the entire history of the United States Senate will come alive and educate and inspire others to serve and to work to fulfill America's promise. While Senator Kennedy was proud to be a politician, in his own way, too, he was a teacher and an educator. One afternoon, early in my term, one of his former colleagues approached me in the Senate chamber. And reflecting on what the loss meant to that body and how much they relied on him to carry the tough fights and how he'd always share credit, no matter what victories he'd achieved, the senator said wistfully, "Ted taught us to be better senators, and now we must be." And in this audience, there are over 100 former staff members who can attest that by his constant devotion to making a positive difference in other people's lives, he made us better citizens and indeed better human beings. It was Senator Kennedy himself who said, "All of us will live on in the future we make." In his own way, he was too modest to say that some of us will live on in those whom we inspire. And this morning, as we break ground at UMass Boston for this exciting center of civic education and engagement, on the campus, in the city and the Commonwealth he loved, next to his brother's library and museum, which itself echoes a patriotic call to service, we can be certain that Edward Kennedy will live on, and all who will be inspired by the educational mission of this great institute, which will proudly bear his name. Congratulations, and thank you all very much.